Let's run through the facts, and that's facts.
I'm Eric Estrada, and this is the new M1L by Tune Outdoor.
Facts, yeah, I'm dropping straight facts. Tune Outdoor got me living relaxed. Slide in, camp out, don't overreact. You asking for the truth, here's the facts. That's facts.
I got a whole bunch of questions about this camper. So instead of answering all the questions individually, I decided to go ahead and make a video answering all those questions. Did you get a propane tank? My understanding is you have to swing it to the side every time you want to open the back door. What do you think about the mounting system if you did get it, and how annoying do you think it would be? Honestly, I did not get it because I don't really have much of a use for heat in my truck. However, I did think about getting it for cooking purposes. Heating is not really a thing for me because I am in South Florida where it is pretty much 90 degrees every day of the year, except for maybe 5 days where it gets down to the 50s. Occasionally, if you're somewhere in the right spot, you'll get down to the 40s. So I did not get the propane tank. However, they did show it to me, and I thought the bracket looked awesome. It was efficient. It held the tank where it needed to be. Yes, you do have to swing it open, but it allows you to have a tank there where otherwise you would not, and you'd have to have your tank stuffed somewhere inside. I'm sure it'll have to be one of those things that you just create the habit of swinging it every time you open your tailgate. But once you do that a few times, it should be muscle memory and not be an issue at all whatsoever. If I had the use for a heater, I would 100% go with the propane tank feature that they offer.
Man, yeah, blinking is done. Pop the latches, lift it up, you're chilling in the sun. They think it's heavy, but now it's lean. Like a carbon fiber tent with a truck bed dream.
After a few nights of use, do you wish you got the normal size? Now, when I got this message, I wasn't sure what they were referring to. Were they referring to the M1 as the normal size versus the M1L? Or the bed? So I got the shorter bed. It still is a queen size bed, but what happens is it actually protrudes more into the bed of the truck rather than overhanging over the roof more. I went with this setup because I do have a sunroof on the truck, and the boys love to climb out of the sunroof when we're driving around the holiday parades where all the Christmas lights and stuff. However, this setup does interfere a little bit with the sunroof. It sticks out maybe 2 inches over the sunroof, and had I known that, I probably would have just gone ahead and gone with the fully extended bed. But even then, even with that bed going all the way forward, I would still have an overhanging shelf into the truck. The difference is it would be about half the size here because the other half would be over the roof of the truck. With that said, the bed folds in. I got the new Hess mattress that has 2 folds in it. I was told that it turns into a couch. I haven't quite exactly figured out how it turns into a couch. So what you would do is open this up and then turn it into a couch. The boys love it. Even at their brother's flag football game this past weekend, I had the whole camper set up. The boys were playing in here the whole time. And it was great because it kept them contained inside the truck rather than having to chase them around while they wandered around the sports complex.
What's your MPG, bro? I get that a lot. Still pulling good numbers, even fully stocked. It's light on the bed, don't drag my frame. Tacoma still moving like it's built for the game.
Did you have an M1 before? If so, what is the miles per gallon difference you are seeing? Why would someone buy the short overhang instead of the long overhang bed area? Just weight and cost? Honestly, as I mentioned previously, I went with the short overhang because I wanted to still be able to utilize my sunroof. If I didn't have the sunroof, I definitely would have gone the other way, but realistically at this point, honestly, I haven't seen a difference. Now, from MPG, I didn't have an M1 before, but I did have a Lear camper shell in here, and let's be honest, since I got this truck, my MPGs have been horrible. I never see over 14 miles per gallon with or without the camper shell. I noticed my Tacoma is very sensitive to the fuel that I put in it. Certain gas stations give me significantly better miles per gallon. If it's Wawa or Shell, I'll get the high end of my MPG. If I get pretty much anywhere else, I'm getting significantly less miles per gallon. With this on here, I was getting on average 14, I even got 16 with the M1L on here. When I was up in Wyoming, driving through those mountain canyon roads, the speed limits were a little bit less. I was averaging 14 to 16 miles per gallon for the 3-4 days that I was in Wyoming up in the canyons. But once I got back on the highway, that dropped back down to 12. I'm getting anywhere from 11.9 to 12.8 with the M1L on here. I've probably lost 1 or 2 miles per gallon tops, and I could essentially adjust that by paying more money for more expensive fuel or simply just being a little bit lighter on the throttle.
Yeah. facts, yeah, I'm dropping straight facts. Tune Outdoor got me living relaxed. Slide in, camp out, don't overreact. You asking for the truth, here's the facts, that's facts.
What do you plan to do for solar panels on the M1L? The M1L doesn't have a solar kit compatible. I'm not exactly sure. I was thinking about checking out the OptiSolex. It's like a bag that you fold out into a solar panel setup. It weighs about 18 pounds. That's just something I haven't looked into quite yet. Now, another person, please drop a link to your YouTube channel. Thank you. So if you're watching this video, you're watching it on my YouTube channel. So I'm gonna take this opportunity to tell you to make sure you hit that subscribe button for more content, as I will be traveling the Southeast primarily, fly fishing around.
Can you stand up? Depends how tall my guy, but I got room for a stretch in the sky high vibe. They say, yo, what's it cost? I tell them it's fair. You buying freedom, not furniture for a chair.
Okay, here's a long one. Thanks for being our source for the M1L questions. MPG is a big question, and suspension. Did you have a topper prior? What MPG were you averaging prior versus now? As I mentioned in the last question, I had a Lear camper shell on here before. I was getting anywhere from 12 to 14 MPG on a regular basis. And that's probably about the same as to what I'm getting now. What tire size do you have for comparison? I am running the Falcon Wild Peaks AT4Ws. I'll put the text with the tire size on the screen now. The largest tire you can fit on a factory suspension on the Tacoma. I have 0 upgrades on my suspension. It's the same suspension that it came with from factory. It is a TRD Sport 4x4, so it does have the Bilstein shocks in it. And for the most part, it does fine. I noticed when I had the back fully loaded out with gear and the M1L, I noticed some sag. And even driving here, because it's a little bit treacherous, I did hit the bump stop one time. So that tells me I'm gonna wanna upgrade the suspension, and I've kind of been on the fence. I wasn't sure if I want to go with the lift kit, add a leaf, or airbags. A couple of my buddies told me just put airbags on it and be good to go, but I kind of want to do more than that. So I'm leaning towards the add a leaf and maybe new stronger shocks, because just when I added the metal front bumper, immediately I felt the extra weight on the factory suspension. So I'm probably gonna just do a little bit of upgrades. I'm not going too crazy with it, because this, while I do enjoy going off-road, a lot of my travel is on the highway, going from city to city to go out and explore the areas. So I'm gonna optimize it more so for highway driving and some off-road capabilities. I'm not gonna be one of those guys that's going through like giant mud pits. Now, the Tacoma is very capable, and I am confident that if I end up in any situation, it will get me out of there with just minor upgrades to the factory suspension. Luckily, the M1L honestly doesn't weigh any more than my Lear camper topper did, at least based on the advertised weight. So I didn't really notice much of a difference, except when I have it fully loaded in the back. It's a little bit more flowy than it used to be.
I ain't pitching tents, I'm pitching lifestyle goals. M1L's the crib when I'm out on the road. So if you see that shell with a Tune Outdoor badge, that's me living light, doing laps off the map.
Would love a write-up about what you like and don't like, especially curious about what options were worth it. All right, so it's one of these things. I wasn't sure if I wanted the windows on the sides of it. I didn't think I'd really utilize them much. Because I have the deck drawer, I'm kind of already standing up, you know, where the windows are, but it's been really nice to have them. It looks awesome being able to just look out and see everything. I probably would have gone with one aluminum door, just because I'm not quite sure where I'm gonna be able to port out for my AC, because I did get a air conditioner unit for it, and I'm not sure how I'm gonna port it out just yet. I might end up having to go on that front panel and port out, but I have to really figure it out. Maybe reach out to the guys at Tune and see what they recommend doing. But yeah, that's probably one thing. I probably would have gone with one aluminum side door, just to be able to easily port through that side door and attach max tracks and stuff like that.
Yeah. Facts, yeah, you know the whole pack. Answers on deck, no cap, all facts. Tune Outdoor life, can't fake that track. Windmill gang, where the wild ones nap. Woo!
As far as options go, do you know if you can put their jacks on the M1L? I was told that currently you cannot use their jacks for this setup. This one is designed to be permanently attached to your truck. I did ask them if it's difficult to remove, and they said it's not. They would recommend having a hoist system to lift it up, but I am a partner at a skiff company, and we have forklift, we have giant hoist, because we build boats. So when we take a boat out of the mold, we need to hoist it out of the mold. So I'm probably going to go ahead and do that myself, because I want to potentially add a back window. That's something else I would have done differently. Add a back window there so I could see from the truck out. And I want to wrap that in black. I'm not thrilled that it's white. If you saw my other video, I didn't know that that was an option. I thought the other M1Ls I saw were black, so I just assumed they all came black. But going forward, definitely I would ask for that black. But yeah, this is not meant to be taken off, on and off, on and off like the M1 is. So it has 3 bolts on each side that I was told need to be torqued down to 8 pounds each. And once you have that, it's pretty simple. It's only 6 bolts altogether, but you're gonna wanna have a good hoisting system to lift it up off the truck. And honestly, a hoist is not that difficult to build. The ones we have at the boat shop are pretty much just a big frame of 4x4 with some braces on wheels, and then we have like just a winch or a pulley system to lift it up.
Gang where the wild ones nap.